Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I'm your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew. This side of some last minute...
It says 4.5 Vulcan.
God damn it.
Well, I'm going to do my intro over. Eric's like, I put the right intro in. And he didn't. That's okay. Are we still live? Am I still going?
We're
The
still live,
intro
yeah.
is right. It's the overlay that's wrong.
Oh, it's the overlay. All right. Well,
There
Eric's
we
going to fix the
go.
overlay as I talk. I'm going to do the intro again. Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I'm your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew. This side of some last minute sashimi that I'm still a little bit squeamish over. Literally, like I'm nauseous right now. I'm having some not a great day. Working on it. Vice Admiral Eric is here, and the flashing light Erica saw seriously may just be coming from something shiny in his basement. It's true. Look at all the lights. Captain Hawk. Are there four? There might be like 6 or 5. Captain Hawk is here for the second week in a row, which actually has the hollow emitters acting up. They're not used to all the wear and tear and attention. It's good to have you back, buddy.
Thank you.
Praetor Giraffe is here. Glad that Erica is trying to practice safe cooking standards. And I know you want that flame thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And Captain MC is here, ready to compare the wormhole to the Kelvinverse somehow.
All wormholes lead to the Kelvinverse.
See, I knew it. There it is. Welcome back. How we doing? We've got a full house tonight.
Yeah,
wow.
The chat is saying there are 5 hosts.
It does not happen often anymore, but people love this episode, so we're here to talk about. Yeah, right. It's this one, which is great. We are gonna get rolling because there are 5 of us, and we were debating whether we wanted to do a 3-hour show tonight or not. Giraffe said yes. The rest of us said no. We'll get there somehow. It's going to be great. This week, what happens when Ortegas crash lands on a toxic moon? And what happens when Erica finds that she isn't alone on said moon, having to come face to face with the trauma that she suffered at the beginning of the season? How do Erica end that trauma, being the Gorn girl? I like that they've dubbed it the Gorn girl. Girl work together to stay alive. With her taking the lead on Erica's rescue, how far is the crew willing to go? And how about that ending? Mixed feelings on the ending for sure. We are going to break it all down. But first, Eric, we need to thank our amazing Ready Room level patrons and above, please.
I was not expecting me to do it. I should have read the outline. But that would be off.
Gamble. It's a gamble every time. He says like, and now, and I'm like, not me.
Nice.
Like Russian roulette, but S&P roulette.
Well, thank you to Simon Steger, Jeff Reeve, Tallulah, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Kung Hui, Takaka Nagumo, Fernanda Nogales, SMK, Colin Davidson, Shatterhand 2049, Jesco, Michael Graham, Emily and Travis, Maggie Light, Wayne Ritz, Scone of Arc, Sean, Jay Howard, Mahalani Uchiyama, Matt Harker, Joshua Lewis, Tara Poland, Slope 74, Rude Parakeet, Adam Sanders, Amy the Magic Snail, Aaron W, Carl Angoli, Michael Kwan, Caitlin, Elizabeth Dean, Jimmy McMahon, Sedano 317, Puka Hair, 3 Fries Short, Cat Tip, Tripping the Read Alert over a Pineapple, Sean Manning, Asher at the Bat, Chris Waterman, RHCB, Martin Simpson, Norman Butchwald, David Prime Hildebrand, Taryn J. Robinson, Rob Griner, Eric the Red, Trouble, Jamie Roberts, Honeyberry, Paul Taylor Pitt, Brett Jones, Michelle P., Margin Walker 82, Melissa Bartell, Jesse Robbins, Kim, Chris Fenolio, Felix Day, Kelly McKinnon, Chief Petty Officer Snuggles, and Lisa Moore. I think I blacked out in the middle of that.
You totally did. It was great though. I was
That's
here
how
for
you
it.
get through.
I was here for it. Oh man. Of course, a very big thank you to our Badmirals, our EPs who keep their rations safe and wormholes ajar. I was going to make it a little bit more obscene, but decided against it.
I was like, gaping.
I was going to write gaping. I literally was going to write gaping. And I was like, I think we'd all find that funny. I don't know if everybody else would find that funny.
This is why you keep me around.
At least we were on the same page with that one.
We all expected it.
Well, next time when there's a gaping wormhole.
There's always a gaping wormhole.
That leads to the Kelvinverse.
And we're that show now. Simon Steger, Chris Waterman, Tyra Poland, Brett Jones, Dana, Matt Harker, Jim McMahon, Maggie Light, and Pfeff. And before we go any further, I want to say a very, very, very big happy birthday to one of our amazing Badmirals. Dana, it is your birthday the other day. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
It's your birthday. Happy
We're actually going to have a really exciting weekend. Dana is actually coming here, and we are going to see Hamilton with the family in the theater.
Hey.
And then there's like a Bluey thing in King of Prussia. So we're doing Bluey stuff. It's going to be lots of fun.
Yeah, you're not missing your shot on any of that, eh?
Nope, not missing my shot at all. News, some quick news to get through. September means that the kids are back at school, meaning my kids. So the house is empty again. Giraffe has to go teach those kids. Godspeed.
Not his kids.
Not my kids. No, not my kids. More editing time is available to me. So we have a bunch of new content coming your way. New episodes of Strange New Adventures and Alternative Space are available now to our Patron Collective and will be making their way to the general public in the next 2 weeks. So just to kind of look ahead, next Wednesday, brand new session of Strange New Adventures. It's part 2 of the starter campaign. And the week after, we're taking a week off of live, but we'll still have a show on Thursday. That'll be a brand new episode of Alternative Space Giraffe.
Is it?
It is.
Oh.
It is Liz Kennick, I believe. Dressed like, I don't know. I just record the.
Yo, I record so many things I can't follow. Like I record, like sometimes it's like months after I recorded the things. I don't remember.
You're right. It is Liz. It is.
It's Liz. Yep. That's the one that's happening. So look forward to those. We will have a lot more coming up. We have a bunch of episodes recorded of both Alternative Space and Strange New Adventures.
Yeah.
So lots of good stuff coming your way. We're also doing a fun thing for patrons after Strange New Worlds is over. Do I have it available to show to people? I do, for once. We're going to have a couple of our Badmirals play this with us.
Upside down.
And it's going to be really fun. Can't wait to do this. This is the Beetle and Grimm's murder mystery on the Titan A, and it's going to be so much fun. We're debating whether to do that live or record. I think we decided on recording it because live might be a little bit too much chaos to try to do that.
You wanted to do a 24-hour pod.
That's true.
Do the chaos.
That's true. Next bit, Draft, do you want me to read it or do you want to read it?
Read it.
I'll
Because
read
I
it.
don't have it.
So, okay, it's no secret if you've been on our Discord over the summer that we've gotten some shitty reviews because we're too negative, and then also we get comments for being too positive. Like you can't win. Every now and then, though, we get awesome feedback from our listeners and fans and patrons, and this absolutely blew me away. This was an email that we got from Rod Griner. Took time out of his day to write us a very long email And I can't wait to read it to you all because it is just really, really kind words. And I think it's important for everybody to hear it. So this is from Rod. Hi, everyone. Long-time listener here, but first time writing in, even if this never makes it on the pod, which it is, Rod. So thank you again for writing it. I really just wanted to thank the panel for creating such a thoughtful and nuanced conversation during your review of Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 308, 4.5 Vulcans, especially around how race and intersectionality are handled in Star Trek. I deeply appreciate the vulnerability you bring when raising difficult topics and the way you're willing to hash them out honestly. Giraffe and MC in particular, thank you for continuing to center conversations on race, gender, and queer identity, even when it makes some uncomfortable. Please keep holding the fandom accountable. As someone of mixed race and nationality who has lived around the world, I'm continually struck by how heteronormative American and white Trek's writing remains, and how often it misses the mark on race, ethnicity, intersectionality, and gender identity. It's wild that in 2025, major studio writers still default to the same tired storylines. This is why corners of the fandom are still unable to imagine Black Vulcans or more nuanced representation, even if in a future where hunger and inequality are supposedly solved. My entry point into Trek was Voyager in the 90s. Here, by the way. Janeway was a revelation, badass yet vulnerable, balancing softness with command. From there, I devoured Deep Space Nine and the rest of the series and films. It probably won't shock you that I gravitated towards the shows that took risks. Please don't come for me, but I always found Kirk exhausting.
I
mean, so do his
Kirk
best
has
friends.
had, so do yeah, literally. Look at Scotty in the season of Strange New Worlds so far. What's always concerned me about Trek and other sci-fi franchises is that even in imagined utopias, Black people are often erased. We can accept the existence of progenitors, but not Black Vulcans. One of the things I love most about your podcast is how Julian and the crew make clear that it isn't a safe space for bigots. That matters. By way of context, I'm a marketer at a very large tech company, and I guarantee you the creators, showrunners, and producers are listening, even if they never write in. So please keep doing what you're doing. Thank you again for your work and the honesty and the joy you bring. Best, Rod Griner. So we remember now, by the way, for the patron readout for now on, like the WNBA player, Brittany. There it is. I have goosebumps.
Wow.
I'm
reading that.
like tearing up. That was a very nice letter.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not gonna bullshit anybody on listening live. You know, on this show, people know how I felt this summer. I've had a hard time with some of the negative shit that we've been getting because I don't think it's fair and I don't think it's warranted. So seeing someone take time out of their day, you know, like a review is a review. Like a review is a couple of sentences in a paragraph, but to have someone take some time out of their day and write an email like that, just like that warms my heart and reminds me especially of why we do this, because I needed that reminder. So
wow.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody else has anything they want to say, but I thought that was lovely.
Other than thank you. You know, last week's was, you know, definitely a divisive episode for us, and I honestly hate that it's Star Trek that ends up like creating like a rift in this thing that we've been doing for 5 years. I'm glad to have done it. I'm glad to have been honest about how I really felt about the episode last week, and the fact that it's actually met receptively. I was actually really kind of, you know, broken, you know, it's like a little guilty all week in not thinking about that episode because, yeah, we were harsh on it, and I think, you know, absolutely needed to be, you know, and it's not always fun, you know, because this is Star Trek. It's something that's supposed to bind us together, and it's, you know, you want to approach it positively in that, but last week it was not possible. I'm so glad to have done it.
Yeah.
I think it's important for everybody to remember that the people who are the most vocal are usually the 1% that are being a problem. So, as an indicator, I know. And also as a cosplayer, like, you know, like you need to do your thing, do what makes you happy, and the people in the comment can, you know, are just a fraction of who you're actually reaching. And very often the people that you have a positive, and that's the thing, is that people on whom you have a positive impact very often will come and send you a DM or things like that, but won't be like out in the open, because out in the open it's always, the negative like comments, like the bullies, and it's it. Go tell the show you like that you like them. Write a comment. Like it. When I get likes on something, and always like, oh, that's cool, people like it. But when people comment, I always like try to get out my attitude, like, thank you. Yeah. And like I read every single comments on every single of my videos, on every single of my posts, on everything I put out there. I read everything. So yeah. Do it to all of your creators. It's important.
It is super important.
The void,
Yeah. Because we have feelings too.
That's me. I'm French.
That's true. Anything else news-wise?
Yes.
Anything? Go ahead.
Trexpert quiz is going to be coming back. It's coming back on September 13th, and I think that somebody is going to be on the first show back.
I was not me.
It's me. It's me. And it's no longer called Trexperts Quiz. It's called Trek Masters, which is a cool name. I like it. I like the new rebrand. It's really cool.
Did that get announced yet?
It did.
Okay.
It did.
I was like, I saw it everywhere on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't been on Instagram for a while, so.
I know who I'm facing too, but I don't know if I'm supposed to announce that, so I won't do that just in case. But yeah, doing the end of season Strange New Worlds quiz. So
I can't believe that I'm a host on the show and I didn't realize that it had actually been announced.
Shit happens. It's fine. But looking forward to that. That is going to be a blast. Hey, Joe's in the chat. What's up, Joe? What's up, Jim? Also, people are talking about wanting the butterfly whale from the episode a couple of weeks ago with some merch. Go buy the merch that we have in the store first. and then we'll do more. strangenewpod.bigcartel.com. Get our stuff there. Order it. Show us that you want more, and we'll make more.
If you guys buy a dozen 5-year mission shirts or whatever, I will do the space butterfly whale thing.
There you go. Extortion. MC's gonna make it. You just need to buy some shorter shirts and some bags. I love it. Oh my god. Awesome. Let's keep going.
One more news. Just like, I know it's
giraffe news.
Like too long, but like end of September, last weekend of September, I will be at LA Comic Con. It's also my birthday. So if you're around and you're at LA Comic Con, please come say hi. I'll be there. I'm just going there for fun. I have nothing to plug, but I know there's a very cool people that's going to be here. Tilly Bridges and Susan Bridges are going to be there. A bunch of cool people are going to be cool.
They're awesome. Susan and Tilly rock, and you should go pick up their new Voyager comic, which came out yesterday, and listen to our interview with them, because it is also equally fantastic, as is Red Shirts, which I caught up on today.
So good.
That shit is dark. It's really good,
but red shirts, so
it's Red Shirts.
There's a reason their shirts are red.
There's a reason their shirts are red.
Be white. That's weird.
Yeah, it's a blood stain.
This is, see, 5 people. It's just chaos energy. Let's get to the strange new loop. So no shit. It took 3 seasons, literally. It's the end of season 3, and we just got the Ortegas episode. We've been asking for. And as far as I know, I think we all generally agreed this was a good episode. But if you had an opportunity to write your own Ortegas episode, what would be the premise and why?
I have one.
Oh, sorry.
You go ahead.
Okay,
I want to know why she's a legend in the Klingon War. Like, that's the episode I want to see. I want to know why.
I like
Keep
it.
it short because long episode.
Appreciate you. MC, you definitely have next.
I would like them to do an episode about Erica that has nothing to do with her being a pilot.
Yes.
I would like to maybe almost do like a Data's Day type situation with her, where we get to find out like some personal information, find out if she's got a significant other, maybe find out why she knows how to fight with a Lurpa.
I do want to know why she can fight with a Lurpa. Yes. Yes. Hawk, Draft. It's a tough question.
Actually, I did have a thought of it, but it does involve her being the pilot because, you know, she is Ortegas and she is the pilot.
She flies the ship.
Yeah, she flies the ship. I thought it would be kind of funny. I don't know. It probably doesn't fit into canon, but wouldn't it be hilarious if she was the one? No, actually, it wouldn't be hilarious, but...
No, you already started. You need to finish.
No.
Maybe she was the one responsible for the Culvered Starburst maneuver being banned.
But I mean, cool.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
Either way, it would be amazing. Like if you know they had some sort of backstory with her at Starfleet as like you know leader of the Nova Squadron.
That kind of fits with Eric the Red said flashback to the Academy with Detmer.
Thank you for reading that one because I was going to read that one. Yes. No, I'm glad that you did.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I like that, Hawk.
Honestly, I don't have another idea than that episode. I really wanted Ortega by herself doing Ortega stuff. So I would have liked maybe to see more of her skills. What makes her like not just a Starfleet officer, but Erica Ortegas, you know? But no, yeah, like being stranded on a planet, I thought was like a great idea for her character development. We don't learn much about her. It's more how she changes, but yeah, I don't have another idea, honestly.
It's funny that you said though, like wanting to learn more about like Erica and her skills. I kind of have something like along those lines. What I really want, I'm spoiled by the book that we reviewed, and I can't remember
Toward the Night.
Toward the Night. I was going to say Twilight Night, but yes, Toward the Night. And like getting to learn about her family. I would really love like in Ortega's on Earth or like just something like with her family, because her family has this like Starfleet history that is kind of also like, spoilers by the way for Toward the Night a little bit here, that is like a little bit frowned upon in the Ortega's family, and like, you know, Erica kind of follows those footsteps. I'd like to just know like her family dynamic. And if I was gonna make a complaint, like we don't get enough character backstories in Star Trek these days, and I would really like that.
So I was gonna
Yeah, I think like that's the thing that was missing in episode. Sorry, it's like I don't want episodes that are flashbacks. I want episodes that are now, but like the information that we're missing is what is helping the episode to go forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like when Will's father showed up and we learned a ton of stuff.
Oh my God, Will's father.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought up Toward the Night, because I was actually going to try to figure out a way to bring it up during the actual review. In that, considering that in this episode, Ortegas gets stranded and doesn't know if she's going to get back, since I had read Toward the Night, I was kind of hoping it's like, this would be a really great place to mention her great aunt or whatever it was.
Yep.
But that I think if I remember correctly, Toward the Night was written after these episodes were done, and it was actually based off of, so it was like backwards done. So
yeah,
that's cool.
Yep.
I just assumed you wanted to see more Beto.
I'm leaving now.
Nah. Beto. We got some in the chat.
I want more. I want a Beto redemption arc.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice. That would be nice. Jim McMahon writes, I want to know what Ortegas did with that motorcycle she's working on. Yeah, like does she go like on shore leave and ride it? I would like to know that.
I'd like to see that, because that would be hot.
Yeah, facts. Dana, I want an episode where her and Pike compete against each other in test pilot simulations. That could definitely be cool. Nice. Castaway Ortegas, flashbacks leaving home, joining Starfleet, and the war, etc. Michael Kwan. Nice. All good options.
We did miss Jean's.
Ooh, thank you, Jean.
Yeah, Jean would like an episode with Ortegas on a boat where she yells, "I sail the ship."
Oh boy. Oh boy. With that one, I think we should get to the review. It is our, well done, Gene. It is our review of Strange Worlds episode 309, Terrarium. It is the penultimate episode of season 3. And our order tonight will go Hawk, Giraffe, Eric, MC, followed by myself. Because we do have a full house this week, we're going a little old school, strange new pod, and doing what we used to do to try and like manage and pick up some time here. We're gonna do just like initial thoughts on this one, like some quick initial thoughts. Hawk, you're up first. Initial thoughts on Terrarium.
First up, total mislead on the title. When I heard Terrarium, I was thinking of Menagerie. There's going to be some omnipotent being like I'm not watching her from inside a cage, which we didn't get. But Ortegas, the hashtag finally worked in that because we got an Erica Ortegas solo episode, sort of solo episode in that. Now, there was stuff going on in the B plot, obviously, but this is one solely focused on her and seeing what she can do when she's not the pilot. Because that shuttle was not going anywhere. First thing it brought up, like those things like Robinson Crusoe or The Martian and that, where you're stranded on like a hostile world and that pretty much wants you dead, and like how do you survive? And then we see so much in that first opening sequence with her and just working out the problems. And the last thing I'll say is that I Made Water is still funnier than anything from last week's episode.
It's like right out of Castaway, right?
Yeah.
I have made fire.
Yeah.
Also for the double entendre of it.
Yeah. Giraffe, your initial thoughts on Terrarium.
I thought it was a good episode. I was happy that we finally had some, Ortegas, some solo crew member like development episode, and that also it's a good way to yet again retcon season 2. Let's go. We'll talk about the ending that I really disliked, but the rest was a great episode. Yes, and excellent job by Melissa Navia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and, like talking to a puppet for 15 minutes.
I know.
So good. She absolutely killed it. It was fantastic. Yeah. Eric.
Yeah, I love this episode. They went full sci-fi in multiple directions, which I loved. Like we talked about last week and this week, Martian is a phenomenal book and movie, so I like that they did that. I love the enemies having to work together to get through things. Like it's not a trope that Star Trek does frequently, but they do it, and they always do it well. So they did it well here. What else? The tie-ins at the end sort of meh, I guess, but overall I like that. I like seeing Ortegas, and the fact that we've been talking about having an Ortegas episode and they finally did it means that maybe when Starfleet Academy comes, we'll get that Jet Reno episode that we've been waiting for since she was introduced on Disco.
Yo,
yeah.
Jet Reno ep, let's go, please, Starfleet Academy.
I'm angry at COVID because I'm sure we didn't get a Jet Reno episode
because of COVID.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
MC, what about you?
So I really loved this episode. I love Robinson Crusoes is the correct term for episodes for somebody stranded by themselves and trying to figure things out, which is why The Martian is one of my favorite movies. And yes, the I Have Made Water. Basically, I feel like the director was like, give us your best Tom Hanks from Castaway, which is perfect. I thought that this was one of the best episodes of the series up until the ending, so we will have to talk about that.
Nice. I absolutely adore this episode. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I like the ending for a variety of reasons, which we will talk about. I think it might be, I'm still deciding. I don't know if I've made like a final decision, but I think it might be the best episode of the series. Like if I'm thinking about other ones, I know Nami believes that. Nami put that in her Instagram stories. This is a great, it's really good. And Melissa Navia, like, okay, I know that we're going to make a lot of comparisons to this episode tonight about like other episodes of Star Trek, because this is a very common Star Trek episode trope. But the episode that I kept going back, even though Kara's alone in it, is You Can't Go Home Again in season 1 of Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, yeah.
And
I fully expected her to fix that Gorn ship and then fly it.
Right. And that's such a good episode. And there's so many similarities in like the best possible way. And it gives me goosebumps just thinking about that. Like, I love this. Melissa Navia, but I also have to shout out Celia, because Celia on board the Enterprise was equally fantastic, doing about anything to get Erica back, because she's her bestie and like ride or die. And I loved, and you know, Pike to a point as well.
I really like that Una was like she had to play the hardball. Like I like,
I love that too.
I like that she had to be the voice of reason. Like it was so good.
That's exactly what the number one is supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's get into it then, because I know we just said a whole lot of things that we want to talk about. Where did you think, Hawk, that this episode was going when Erica crash landed on the planet? And like I mentioned, like very you can't go home again vibes, at least for me, like when it started.
I think, yeah, when she initially crashed, I guess I kind of already said, like, you know, I thought like stranded, like without a ship, it's going to be like the old Robinson Crusoe, like we said before. I did not expect the turn it did take, and that's a great thing about going into these things without reading anything other than the title of the episode. And when the added element of her survival was added, I didn't see it coming. You know, I thought we had closed that out.
Nice. Giraffe?
Sorry, I was scolding the chat. What is the question?
I saw you scolding the chat all loud. Where did you think this episode was going to go when Erica first crash landed on the planet?
Exactly where it went.
Okay, nice.
Fortunately and unfortunately, but I was like, they're gonna do fucking arena, and then it was that. And every time they were doing a little bit more of arena, I was like, they're gonna stop here. They're not gonna go to the next thing I think they're gonna do, and they did. So yeah.
You honestly called it from the beginning?
Wow. From the beginning.
I can actually attest to that. Giraffe live tweeted or live discorded her watch. She did call it 100%.
The beginning, and also I thought that the beginning it was gonna be like the enemy, which it is.
It is. Yeah, 100%.
That's where my mind went. Gorn was introduced.
Low-key, I didn't expect the Gorn, but when the Gorn started, I was like, oh, this is arena. Yeah. Okay. Watch this one. It's up there. Look. See?
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
such a good
I love
episode.
those posters. Oh, those posters are so nice. Nice. Who's up next? Eric.
Me, I muted myself. No, I fully expected it to go into the enemy. Mostly because they had been building up this whole Gorn thing with Erica the whole season. I was like, well, they can't just like drop that, right? So the fact that they did it, I like the fact that Terrarium, like the title Terrarium, just made me think that they were in like a sealed area that they couldn't. It's not a different type of arena.
A menagerie?
With a lizard.
Exactly.
It's an arena with a lizard.
Exactly. So yeah, I expected it. I love that they took their time to do like the whole Robinson Crusoe thing. So I like that they spent their time, because I fully expected it to happen like right at the beginning, and it didn't, and that made me happy.
Nice. MC?
I mean, there's just so many Star Trek episodes that it immediately gave me the flavor of. Of course, people have mentioned The Ascent. I also thought of Darmok and what is it? The Ascent, I think is what it's called, the Deep Space Nine episode. Where Odo and Quark are stranded and they need to climb a mountain.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I had a pretty good idea where they were going to go, because, like Eric said, they had this whole PTSD plot for Erica set up since the first episode of the season, and they haven't done anything with it other than it just being a hindrance. And it's like, well, this is the last episode of the season, and we got to do something with it. And I was actually kind of figured it out through something incorrect, because Erica was seeing the flashing lights of the Metrons. I was thinking about the Gorn communicating.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I was right, but for the wrong reason.
I like it. I thought, and okay, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I've talked to a couple people in the production who, and I think this is both people in the production and as fans. Sometimes previously ons give way too much away.
Yes.
So like they told you where it was going immediately. What I wasn't sure of when she crash land was if she hit her head and this was all going to be like an illusion, which I think would have been a fun way to go. But it didn't, and I'm glad with the way that the way that they went. But that's kind of what I was thinking at first. Even at the end, when it ended up being the Metrons, I actually thought for a second that she was concussed and it was just all about to like disappear. I liked what they did, and again, part of the reason I like it is one of the episodes we didn't mention yet, I don't think, is also TNG, where Jean-Luc and Wesley get stranded with that weird, like their shuttle pilot, and they need to find water, and it's like that's a good one. But like Giraffe, you mentioned this in your live in the Discord. Erica talked. I don't know what to call it.
By me
commentary,
myself in a channel on the Discord. Yes,
Live commentary.
Live commentary. That's exactly what it is. Talking to herself, and that like really, it's like one. That's me every single day. I felt very seen in this episode. I talked to myself way too much, but it also, that's when I really immediately got the "you can't go home again" vibes, because Kara talks to herself, Starbuck, like the entire episode, and it's really good. I liked it. I liked where they were going. It was great.
I think the talking to herself, like Stranger World has an issue with the show don't tell. Like that show definitely tells instead of showing, which a lot of the time is a problem, because I'm like, just do the thing. You don't need to like walk me through everything you're doing. It's like we talked about it, that second screen thing where like people don't watch actually, so they need to always be saying, which is so awkward. But I felt like in that episode, Mason Navia like really played it like when I'm by myself, I'm like, what the fuck was I doing again? She played it so well that it felt like internal monologue of what we do when we're stressed, and not the, they're telling me instead of showing me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, particularly like when she's going through all of the steps that she has to go through, because she's doing that when she's injured. And so she's trying to tell herself, it's like, okay, here is the correct order of operations. I got to get myself fixed first and then water.
Mm-hmm. It's also something reassuring when you're by yourself, in a dangerous situation. Like speaking is usually like calms you down because you feel less alone. So I felt like she really nailed that episode, like that new trend we see to make it really part of the character and what was going on in the episode.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, like, literally before this pod, like, I'm not feeling well tonight. I was talking to myself. I'm like, oh, like, no, this is fucking great, Julian. Like, oh yeah, feeling like shit right before a show. That's real good. So it's like, fucking, like, I feel you. I feel you. What do we think about the Gorn pilot? Because this is like, we've Giraffe especially, like, we've been wanting like intelligent Gorn forever, and this is a great example of it. Like the two working together, how the relationship grows throughout the episode. The fact that the Gorn, by the way, Jesse brought up a great point on Blue Sky about how it was actually Erica who showed aggression first and not the Gorn. What did we think about just this whole dynamic of this episode between the two, Hawk?
Well, obviously, as soon as somebody showed up, the first thing you think is the enemy, right? Then after the interaction and that, yeah, the Gorn actually saved her. It didn't have to, but it did. I thought this was a great way of reintroducing them. But the first thing I thought was this old movie, Enemy Mine, but way back in the 80s, and that Dennis Quaid and Danny Glover. Yes. Where you actually, they learned about each other and that because it's forced isolation. And yeah, it gave us that plot line we were missing for almost 2.8 seasons of this, of the reintroduction of the Gorn into this series. And that, it's like, do we see them as anything else other than, the enemy? Are we nothing but prey to them? And obviously we know that's not true. They're intelligent, they have communication, and they have advanced technology. And this was a great way of exploring it. A little bit more of their culture. The fact that they knew Terran language, and that, not because we're their prey and that, but because we're their enemy. It puts a whole new spin on the war between them, right? I had another point I was trying to make, and that at this point, this is where this episode turns into Iborg for me. I really think we talk about how like a lot of these, stranded episodes and that are kind of a trope in that, and it's all up to the writer to put that spin on it, and that makes it their own. And I think, Alan B. McElroy really found an angle to this. And I especially love the dynamic, like they actually had to communicate with, and that was simple yes and, disagree, agree.
Yeah, someone in the chat today like compared it to like the boop boop chair for Pike, like using that technology basically. Yeah. Giraffe, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I love the Gorn in that episode. I think it's a great portrayal. My problem is, again, the kind of like bottling of that information that happens, and also that us as viewers, we're all like, we know they're sentient. We know they have cultures and technology, and like they even encounter Gorn scientists at one point, I think they say. And it's just like there's all these things like, why don't you guys do fucking nothing with it? And then they do one episode that tells the audience, yeah, you were right, but then it means that Starfleet just doesn't care, try, understand. I feel like it puts all the rest of the season in such a like terrible light, because they're just like, always we need to kill them all. And then women that Gorn was like, sensible and sentient and understand language. Duh, they understand language. And you're like, what do I do with the rest of the show? Now that I know that you know that. So I'd have been asking that for a long time, and I think the episode did a great job, but in the end it goes nowhere. So I'm just very confused about bringing that information. Like, I'm very confused on how they bring the internal canon of the show as a whole in 3 seasons, and just what do the character do with the knowledge of things? You know what I mean? But yeah, so it's a nice little parenthesis. Too bad it's a parenthesis. I feel the Gorn would have been so much more fucking interesting if that would have been the case since the beginning. They understand your calm. Okay, changes the whole storylines. Yeah.
Yeah. Eric.
So I like that. I liked the Gorn pilot. I'm sort of sad that it wasn't a scientist. I don't know. We've been talking about Gorn scientists for such a long time that I thought that as soon as they started communicating with each other, I thought, oh, maybe this one's a scientist and they're stranded, and maybe they're doing, experiments on here, and they could show a new side of the Gorn. It would have been cool. But having a pilot makes it, more relatable with Erica, which was cool. The thing that hurts me, and this is sort of going off of what Draft says, is Erica made a simple communicator so that they could, talk more, right? Which means that they could have had these dialogues with the Gorn forever. If Erica can make such a small thing out of scraps, it sort of boggles my brain that I don't know, this Gorn was so, I know it was injured, but it felt less like a movie monster than we've seen so far. Like in just this season, we've seen them act like the orcs from Lord of the Rings, right? Mm-hmm. And then we've seen Arena where, giant rocks are thrown at each other. We hear a little bit of English later, but I don't know why or how that communication happens. Could have been Metrons or whatnot. But yeah, as soon as she started talking about how they could bring them back, I knew it wasn't going to happen, because Kirk obviously didn't know what a Gorn was later, or at least hadn't seen one. And if that relationship had happened in Starfleet, everything would have changed by that point. But so I already knew that was a ticking clock to that Gorn dying, which is sad. I do like that she she sort of pushed through her trauma to get through this. That it was a lot that sort of seemed like easy just to go by just through this hardship. But you know, I've not gone through that. I don't know how people would react through that. But yeah. Also, the Gorn dressed in the robe and walking slowly and like meticulously with the puppet. It totally gave off, I said in the chat, Dark Crystal vibes.
Skeksis, yes.
Skeksis, yeah.
So I was less scared of it, even though you're supposed to be scared of the Skeksis in Dark Crystal. So I just sat there, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I hope it talks like that, but it didn't get to that point.
Can I sorry, sidebar here real quick before MC goes, just talking about puppetry real quick, because like, just kudos to anybody in the behind the scenes and makeup departments and puppetry departments, visual effects, anything working on these shows right now to make the Gorn. And I'm going to change subjects right now because it's all we can talk about right now, except for Jeff, who I really want to watch the show, but I know you don't do Alien. The puppetry being used in Alien Earth right now is also equally fucking fantastic. So just like hats off to like everybody in these teams who are making these
practical effects, dude.
Yes, practical effects. MC.
Yeah, I loved this whole thing with the Gorn pilot. Made total sense that she was a pilot. If you have, you know, a female pilot with another female pilot, you know, you really want them meeting kind of on the same field. Watching how things change between them is really great. The Gorn is literally the only reason why Erica is alive, because got her protection, got her food, and I just think Erica probably would have done even more dumb things, because even Erica did dumb things that kind of fucked things up for them in the process of things. It would be even worse if the Gorn wasn't there. Now, I do have to say that, and I mean, this is also going to play a little bit into the ending, but the whole like revelation, it's like you can understand English. There is this thing in all of Star Trek, but it does feel like there's a lot of it in Strange New Worlds, where there is such a premium put on human and human-shaped beings. And I mean, like, it does go all the way back to Devil in the Dark. But it just feels a bit more pervasive now. And with the Gorn, it's like they automatically assume, I mean, these are intelligent beings with spaceships and vast amounts of technology. And yet it seems like the Federation sees them as nothing but savages who are animals. And it completely makes sense that the Gorn should understand English. They can't speak it because they don't have that, you know, vocal range. And it kind of just brings that bias out in Starfleet, that they're not trying to really learn the Gorn language. Considering Starfleet is supposed to be about uniting with other cultures, new civilizations, we all know the monologue.
Yeah.
They take such a combative stance against most of them, and especially if they don't look like humans. Think about the ones that are the big enemies of the Federation. You know, you've got the Klingons, the Cardassians, and then you do get into...
Romulans!
Yeah.
But then think about like a lot of the ones that are, you know, immediately kind of friendly. The Bajorans just got a little ridgy on the nose. The Trills are just spots, but, you know, generally look human. And it's something that has always been there, but it's something that I'm noticing a little bit more now.
And if I can add to this, even if you like go in universe, and you'd be like, if you're in a war with a species, your number one goal should be to be able to understand their fucking communication. Yeah.
That's why you have code breakers like during World War II and shit. Yeah.
And be able also to know how advanced they are, what they can do, what they cannot do, and how much they understand of your intercepted con, much they would understand of your prisoners. And Starfleet is like, no, monsters, blow them up. And I'm like, that's not a smart attitude to have when you're getting your ass handed to you.
No, it's not. And what I wanted to talk about, though, is keeping it in universe with this is Starfleet, I think, is not making good decisions with this right now because
No.
No. I think to a point, yes, it's still stupid and you should fault them for it, but I think you can sympathize with it just a tiny bit because they're fucking spooked after the Klingon War. Like, millions of people have fucking died. Like, they do not want another conflict. So like when they see the Gorn come in and just fucking like destroy a brand new colony and kill a shit ton of people, they're like, fuck, what do we do? And they make bad decisions with it. But I think to a point, it's understandable, even if it's not the right call. You know what I mean?
I mean, philosophically, they're kind of treating the Gorn in this season the way they treated the Borg in the first few seasons, and that it wasn't an open declaration of war, not like this with the Gorn, but it's like it was a war on their way of life. There's no disputing. The Gorn, they feed on humanoids, any species, and that they use them as breeding sacks. It's what they do. It's what they're biologically compelled to do as a species in order to survive. You see little tiny bits of the dynamic in the Gorn culture with her, and that when she referred to herself as broken, because of the wound, and that I don't know. I get the arguments against them in this portrayal. I think it's more in the way they were written. They were kind of written to be the Borg of this series, and the Borg were always scariest when we didn't know what they were thinking.
But they try to talk to the Borg, and the Borg don't talk back, so they're like, okay, fuck them.
Yeah.
But it's the thing is that if you're scared, and if the opponent is bigger than you, then just put all the things on your side. Like, maybe you can talk them out of it. Like, that's what Discovery does with the 10 Cs.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They're like, we literally cannot fucking match them. We need to talk to them. And it works. Because it's kind of like what Star Trek should tell us. That dialogue.
Different leadership styles.
As far as the scenes between Erica and the Gorn, I love this. I thought it was wholesome. I think Jedi Cat hit it on the head. I unfortunately knew by the end of the episode that Gorn was not going to survive, but I think it makes that more like gut wrenching and heartbreaking. But it's so like interesting to finally like see that, the fact that they play chess and they they created a Gorn like board game, I think that's like really interesting. And it's just like,
and she is actually able to teach it to her,
and then like again, just going back to like the puppetry stuff, it's really hard to make a puppet like this, and especially a Gorn to emote, right? But there were points like during these scenes between Erica and the Gorn that you could tell that the Gorn maybe was smiling, or that the Gorn was even laughing. And I think they did such a good way of making the Gorn, even though it couldn't speak the language, a fully fleshed out and understandable character. And I really, really appreciated that. My favorite moment from all of this is when Erica starts cooking the worm, right? And the Gorn like waves the sand in the flame. She's like, dude, I don't want sushi. Like, and then she's just, the Gorn is just great. She's like, it's like, fine, like fuck off and just cook your thing. Like, I thought it was a great moment. I really, really enjoyed that. Where are we?
Well, Eric with the Red in the chat has made an interesting point, bringing up, talking about the inability to talk to other species. But in those old scientists, that actually does come up in universe when Boimler and Mariner kind of chastise Pike a little bit for not trying to talk to the Orions.
Yeah, and you have like a lot of like thing where like you see, for example, Bones doesn't speak Vulcan. The number of people in Star Trek who don't speak Vulcan is crazy.
It is crazy.
first contact happened 200 years ago, more than 100 years ago, right? They've been their first partner, their first like collaborators, like builder of the Federation. They're here left and right all the time. Every ship. Bones doesn't know Vulcan anatomy, doesn't speak Vulcan, has no clue how to say anything in Vulcan. And you just
Bones is also a racist.
That is very true.
Like even like anybody, it's interesting in Discovery when they lose the translator. The only person who speaks our language is Saru. Everybody else like relies on
someone who is outside the Federation.
Someone who's, and Uhura would like speak other languages, but that's her job also. And you just like, that's interesting that there's so much lack of knowledge for like alien life. If this first contact happening in my lifetime, dude, the first thing I'm gonna do is learn that alien language if I can pronounce it.
I mean, you could look at Canada. We have 2 languages. I guarantee you, most people don't know the second.
The other one.
Yeah, but they're not part of like if you're part of Starfleet, you'd think that knowing some Vulcan would be part of the.
But I would also assume the Canadian should as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's almost the equivalent of we're on a voyage to travel around Canada and we're going to be spending 50% of our time in Quebec.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's talk about Uhura and Pike leading the rescue effort for Erica, and number one, like Una really being the voice of reason in a lot of the situations here. Did you like how this played out? I also have to say, just a Captain Decker and the USS Constellation reference, nice little throwback to TOS Hawk. What did you think about this?
I really like the dynamic between them. This could have been a boring kind of B story in that, but like it was Celia Rose, like in her performance in this one with Uhura on that, just like the one who just clings to hope and comes up with a solution that it's like everybody else has written off in that. And I really like the way she fudged the numbers and that, just to make it go. And that she had Spock on board and that, but at the same time, the captain was, it's like the communications have to be possibly in the 60% range in that board. And then she manually resets the number. I thought that was pretty good. Just generally, like the interactions were great. Even with Spock and that, who was downplayed a little bit this episode, but every scene he's in is still really good. That little bit about the weight. And him maintaining like it perfectly. Yeah, that was funny. I enjoyed this.
Nice. Traff?
I like that in every Star Trek, there's one thing that is constant, is that Vulcans are heavy AF and you don't carry them around. And I really like that. So it cracked me up because, when they're just like, we're going to risk all the crew to save one person. I'm like, this is so dumb. Why would they do that? And when finally in an episode, they're like, what about the vaccines we're supposed to deliver? I'm like, dude, what do you mean? Fuck the vaccines. So I'd say that I like the fact that it was a little bit more realistic in the idea where they're like, hey, we have main shit to do, which is like delivering the vaccine. And it's pretty important because in TOS, they always forget what the fuck they were doing to start with.
So many times.
They sidetrack like ADHD, like Quins, they're like, side missions. And then they never end up like bringing the grains that they're supposed to deliver in Troubles with Tribbles, the vaccines they're supposed to deliver in, is it in...
it's Amok time as well, yeah, it's Amok time as well, yeah.
So I like the fact that there's actually somebody being like, yo, we need to do this. But also, it's Star Trek, we know you're gonna go save your crew. Like, why would I watch this if it was just you, like, running errands? Like, like going from like planet to planet to
Wait, do we not want an errand run episode?
I want Death Stranding in Star Trek.
I want Charlie's Day on the Enterprise, following a random bully, and that's what I want to see. Or Scotty. Charlie's Days with Scotty. I would love that. But I felt it was kind of weird because it's not their usual tone. And like out of nowhere, they were like, well, I don't know if we're going to save Ortegas. Like, what the fuck do you speak bad. Like every other episode, you were like hell bent on like going for that thing, or like these guys, or like that meteorite, or whatever you were doing. And like, so it was such a like sudden change of tones. I thought like everybody was just being sarcastic and weird, and I was not really into it. And the idea was like, you're gonna go and save her. We all know this. Just go and do it. Like, be epic. Be Starfleet. Be like duty above all. Like, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't watch it to know about the vaccines. Except if it's a quickening in DS9, then yes, I'm about it. So I thought it was kind of just a weird change of tone out of nowhere. For sure, why not? I hope they delivered the vaccines, because in the end, we don't know. And they spoke so much about it. Just to tell me
they never show it, right? It's like TOS, on to the next one. Here we go.
Like
Jim smiling in the captain's chair.
About the colonists, and then now I don't know if the colonists are okay. What do you mean?
Now that I think about it, I think TOS did sometimes show not beaming down and giving them the vaccines, but like the Enterprise rolling up in orbit as the credits rolled. So yeah,
I suppose maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about Una. Una was again like, it was a kind of like she's all over the place this season. I'm happy because she's here and she's doing things, but I feel every episode we have a different Una. And I'm just like, just choose, girl. Like, which era you're in. Like, once I'll follow you anywhere, I'm fine. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Eric?
I liked Uhura and Spock working together, because I like seeing them together, because it reminds me of the Kelvin verse. And I like them in there most of the time. The Una and Pike and them arguing about whether they're going to save Ortegas or they have to go and deliver these vaccines. I like this a lot. I liked Una in this because she reminded me of Saltai in Battlestar and President Roslin in You Can't Go Home Again. Like that was them. They're like, we're wasting fuel. We have to go. We can't just wait for Starbuck to show up because she's an angel. Like I don't know. I liked it. I liked that Una was the one that had to keep them in line and be like, you know what, we have a job to do. But we knew she was they were gonna save Ortegas. Yeah. So
if I'm stranded on the planet, and then I learned that you all were like, well, what about the colonists?
We're dead to you.
Yeah. You'd be dead on the planet too. But no, I liked it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked Una. I liked her taking charge. I liked her being serious. Like usually we see her not goofing around, but she's super friendly. But her tying her bootstraps and getting to business, I love that. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, same. MC?
So the Spock joke about his weight, I am kind of wondering if one of the writers was having fun at Ethan Peck, because Ethan Peck is cut and he likes to talk about it if you ask him, and guys who are cut like that love to tell you about their percentage of body fat.
I mean, when we went to Fan Expo and he talked about his workout routine to us, I was like,
that's what kind of I was going for. He did talk about that for like the longest answer.
I'm still sad that I missed that moment. I don't know where I was when you guys went and met him, but
no, that was during the Q&A. He told us. He talked about.
You weren't there
Were you not
that
there?
Year.
No, I was there. I was at the Q&A. Yeah, I was there that year. That's the year that we all did Lower Decks in the hotel room.
No, there was. He was also there the next year.
I didn't go the next year. Was that the next year?
Oh, that was when. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh well, never mind. Sorry.
I'm sure if you DM him, he'd tell you about his workout.
He'll give you
That's what L10s do. They love to tell you about like their weight range and whatever.
Yeah, which is exactly why I think they were having fun at him. But anyways, yes, I did love the Uhura and Spock stuff in this. See, this is what I was talking about last week when I was saying like watching Mbenga and Pelia sitting on the couch together. I'm like, you know what? I could see some shippy stuff stuff there. I don't need it in the show. Just have people interact with each other, and I can build things in my head. And I really like Celia and Ethan's chemistry together. They work very well off each other. It's a lot of fun. This whole plot with Uhura, I really liked, because this is kind of, I think, another stepping stone into the Uhura we see in TOS. Because when Uhura came in at the beginning of the show, you know, she was very serious, not wanting to break any of the rules. And that kind of gets pointed out by Mariner and those old scientists, where, you know, Uhura is somebody who could have fun, but Mariner doesn't really see that in what's going on with this version of her. And Uhura in TOS is somebody who would be able to fudge the data to save a friend. And so I think that is an important step. I mean, come on. Uhura pointed a gun at some poor little ensign or whatever to be able to steal the Enterprise. Mr. Adventure, yeah. We need to get her to that point, because that's one of my favorite things from Uhura in the Star Trek movies.
Nice. Gene wrote, I would listen to him tell me all about his workout. Yeah. I love this as well. I thought that this whole B plot was absolutely fantastic. Part of it, again, what Eric was saying, he was talking about Saul and Rosalind, like those comparisons. What I liked about this was that Uhura was Lee and Pike was Adama in this situation, because they both wanted to get Kara back so bad, and these two wanted to get Erica back so bad, and I love that moment. I know some people took issue with Uhura fudging the numbers, and I'm like, everybody on the ship would have fudged those numbers.
What wouldn't you do for your family?
Yeah, exactly. What wouldn't you do for your family, Kirk?
But like he says at the end, it didn't matter in that.
It didn't matter. I would have saved her anyway. And that is such, like, they would have exhausted every option until Una probably like took over the ship. It's like, we're delivering these fucking vaccines, like, get out of the chair. So I really liked it. Again, it's a great comparison to that episode. I think it's just, I don't know if it's a purposeful homage, but I like that, how like, kind of like, because I don't think it's a ripoff in any way. I think it's, I just think it's a very like awesome parallels. And I just love the Pike Uhura dynamic in this. Also, I got to say, I love seeing Pike pilot the ship with Una. Like, I thought that was just like a really cool moment. I'm a nerd like that. And I will also say, most gorgeous shot of the Enterprise that Strange New World has shown us, like, yet, of it flying into the gaping wormhole.
Pike and Una piloting, and Spock behind in the chair.
The chair, right?
Like, it was like, the kid in the big seat in the back seat of the car, like just like waiting where like mom and dad are driving.
Are we there yet?
Yeah, with the little toy wheel.
That shot is so funny because it's just there. It's literally just there. It cracked me up.
Yeah.
Can I also say we're referencing Battlestar Galactica a lot tonight?
Yes,
I still haven't watched it.
Have not watched it?
Okay, finally, somebody else gets this treatment. You need to watch.
Fired.
You're fired.
I'm sorry. I tried to watch it right after I got my wisdom teeth taken out, and I was high and couldn't understand it, and so it frustrated me, and I stopped.
I watched it when it came out, and I wonder how it aged.
I did a somewhat rewatch recently, and it aged very well.
Yeah. I actually did in my rewatch. I actually enjoyed the last season a lot more. I was kind of tossed about it, but
Yeah. We need to BSGU to what they did with me with The Expanse. That needs to happen.
I'm sorry.
And I need to watch Westworld. So
at the very least, I've caught up on Alien Earth.
I'm really proud of you. Really proud of you. That was awesome.
That last episode,
I don't care.
Good.
I refuse to watch
Good.
it.
So good.
It's so good.
This is going to be the fun part. Let's talk about the ending. The Gorn pilot, knowing that she was not going to make it out alive, and then La'an and the crew beaming in, seeing the Gorn shooting first. I'm going to combine these, and you could talk about them at will, and we can go back around again if we need to. Meanwhile, this was all the work of the Metrons. What did we think of the connection to TOS and Arena and the big moment with the Gorn and the rescue Hawk?
I'm such a stupid, naive baby. I kind of thought that's. I kind of thought, I'm like, maybe they're going to rescue the Gorn and then they'll get to learn more, and this will be like, no. Yeah, it was just like they shot her. They shot her. You know, they survived the friggin' blast together and that, and she shot her and that. So, I mean, like, you know, there was kind of like insinuation that she was dying the whole, you know, for the latter half of the episode and that. They run out of the gel. You know, the flare was a big risk and that, but, you know, it would have been great to bring her back on board, you know. She knew she couldn't go back to the Gorn. Yeah, but no, it's got to close it out like that, right? And the Metrons, it's like, I was like, oh, okay, this was, you know, I was a little impressed with it at the beginning of that, and, you know, now hearing people like say, okay. I mean, they did this before with the Trelane thing in episode 2, Wanna Go Blues, and that, you know, the fact that it was Trelane was cool enough, and that, you know, it's like, for me, it was when they added John Delancey doing that whole recreation of the Squire of Gothos ending. You know, sometimes, you know, doing the nod, you know, works. Sometimes it's a weird balance, you know. It's nostalgic, but, you know, does it serve a purpose? You know. Anyway, it was an ending, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to compute everything I want to say, and I know that if there's something I don't say, MC is gonna say it, because I'm pretty sure we agree on this. So I really dislike that ending. And I think it made it worse because the episode was so good that it's just like you're getting that perfect 10-10 flight, right? And then crash fucking landing. We're still all alive, so it's okay, you know? It's not like everybody like died, but I was just like, this is such a botched ending for me after an episode that really raised the bar. It would have been another episode of like, I don't know, we're just doing arena, and like we're like, there's not real character arc or real, like, you know, things to think about. Then that ending would be like, yeah, it's a dumb ending for a dumb episode, I'm fine. But that episode raised the bar so high for Stranger Worlds with like some like deep character interaction, with like character growth, like since A Quality of Mercy, we've known that Erica was harboring this like weird bigoted view about enemies, right? And like finally you have like that character who grows, who learns, who like get to like communicate and like show all the span of things they can do, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so good. And then at one point I feel like they look at the clock and they were like, oh my god, it's like 52 minutes, we need to wrap this up, man. And they were like, you know what, bang bang, Deus ex machina, go home. And I'm like, so that's my first problem, is that ending was like really botched and fast. If they had taken a little bit more time after the murder of the Gorn, because let's call it a murder.
It was fucking murder.
Okay? So they murdered the Gorn, right? Who saved the Starfleet officer. Thank you very much. And if they, after that, they'd been the same character growth and conversation, the same like, what the fuck did you do? Why did you do that? You know, from Erica, and an actual conversation with Lon, or like something else, I'm still not liking it, but I'd be like, okay, I see where it's going, you know, I like the fact. But the fact that they show up guns blazing, they shoot the Gorn, when Erica is clearly not in, you know, like distress, like not being like strangled, murdered, bloodied. She's been here for God knows how long, you know, and she's still fine. She's coming out of a shelter. You know what it made me think? It made me think of Men in Black. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be a little bit long, Julian, just bear with me.
It's fine.
It made me think of like, you know, Men in Black, the original one, where they get all the guys and they're like, they are in the shooting range and they're like, shoot, and they all shoot whatever, and then Will Smith shoots the little girl because like, what is she doing there with like science and physics and so on? And that's a good cop. That's what Men in Black tells you. Shoot after you think, but you think fast because you think on your feet. And there's nothing in what happens that warrants the Gorn to be fucking shot. Nothing at all. So I'm like, God, we could have had an interesting ending where maybe you could have saved the Gorn and have a lot of like Adla Enterprise incident, you get an enemy that is a prisoner of war, and then you can learn a lot of things, like the Romulan commander, right? Okay, so that would have been so much interesting for so many things, but we cannot go against the canon of TOS, God forbid. So I knew she was gonna die. But the fact that she dies at Lawn hand has also like other issues for me that they've been telling me, against my will, by the way, that Lawn has grown and she has like pushed, you know, through all that anger she had for the Gorn and all this and all that and blah blah blah, and now she fucks a Vulcan, so she thinks before she shoots. I don't know. And then no, that is not what happened. And when that happened, which is, let's say it's fine, it happens, even if I think it's not fine, there's no conversation about how it's going against the growth of Lawn. There is no, are you okay? Why did you do that? Not at all. It's just like everybody's like, oh no, oh my god. And then I had an issue with Uhura here because like they're both trying to protect you is a well-known Blue Lives Matter like dog whistle.
Yeah,
Like,
thank you.
But the police is here to protect you. They think you were in danger. And, you know, the first thing that, like what happened after a police shooting is that they say, I thought I was in danger. I thought it was a real gun. I thought they were going to do something bad. It was a kid. I felt threatened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why the fuck would you do that? Have Lawn do it. Fine. Have a conversation. Show the issue in the character, show the pain of Ortega, do something, but just having and it's the end. Oh, and magic wormhole alien. I'm like, dude, it's not because you're like having a shiny gay Metron in front of me that I forget that what just fucking happened. I still have a problem with this because I don't think it was very smart for an episode that was very smart throughout the episode. That was all about connection and talking and getting to know and changing your opinion. So I didn't like how it ended, but most of all, I didn't like how they dealt with what just happened. And I'm gonna add one more thing, and then I'm sure MC is gonna tackle all the rest I didn't say because most of I forgot stuff. But I work at a school, and I work in a country where there are school shootings, right? And when we do training, like we get like police officers that came and like train us and so on. Like, what happens, you know, if you're suddenly like in a war zone for no good reason? And one of the things that they tell you is that if you're black or brown, be very careful when the police show up. Do not move. Do not run. Do not run towards them. You will get shot. And that's something that I have, you know, put in my head. So you survive a school shooting, but also be careful to not be shot by the police. And they tell you, do not run towards the police officers. You need to stay put. And I'm just like, okay, so cool. And Star Trek tells me also, well, yeah, if you look scary and if you're at a place where something scary happened, it is okay to shoot you. And you know what? People will be, it is sad, but she is remembered. Giraffe is in your heart. Everybody tried to protect you. I hope you're happy. And I'm just like, this is such a fucked up fucking message, Star Trek. Don't do this. Again, have Lawn shoot the gun if you really want to, but you need to address all the things you told me about Lawn before. You can just leave it to that. And having Uhura say that was so fucked up. I hated that. So, I didn't like that ending. Great episode, but fuck, that ending needed some work.
Fair.
And Metrons, we didn't need the Metrons nor the bamboo cannon. We didn't. Got it. It was Arena. I understood it was, okay? But I guess it was important that she could not remember, so Arena can happen. And I'm like, okay, if you want to, sure. We'll make sure that canon is respected, Strange New World. I'm done, I think.
Eric.
So,
Tell me how you like that ending, Eric.
I
Did you
said-
like it,
Sandwiched
Eric?
between me
I
and
actually said I didn't like this ending at the beginning of the episode. So as soon as as Pike said, Lawn go down, I was like, oh, fuck. That Gorn is not going to make it. it's strange that they would automatically have their phasers on kill instead of stun. Like that's weird, right? That's a security team. So because they don't know what they're going down into, and to go guns blazing is irresponsible as a security team. I will say that I guess they made the Gorn look like she was picking her up from behind because, Ortegas was on the ground.
Yeah, they did.
Which, I don't like it, but, I assume that's what La'an saw. But literally, she saw a Gorn and just shot, which disappointing. Like everyone has said before, it would have been way more interesting if this Gorn had been part of the Federation. Just because Kirk doesn't know about Gorn doesn't mean that there's a Gorn in Starfleet, right? Kirk doesn't know much many of the time.
Kirk's a himbo.
Yes, exactly. So that would have been way more interesting. Other than the Metron thing, I didn't like that they just sort of glossed over that her friend that she made there is dead, and her friend killed her. They sort of talk about it at the end, but I doubt we're going to talk about this again ever, because they don't do that on Star Trek, unfortunately. But maybe we'll see it in previously on Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Maybe we'll see that one day. I don't know. It felt weird. I didn't like it. But if they ended at her having conflicting feelings about her friend killing her other friend, that would have been a way better ending than having them have the Metrons come on and be like, we did this because we're interested in what you guys would do, but we're not sure because one person fucked up, but you guys did pretty okay. I just sat there, I was like, fuck, this is I mean, I guess it's neat that that Kirk fixes this in the future, or is the salvation of humanity, which hurts my brain a little bit more too. But
is he though? I don't know.
He's the one who showed
salvation of
mercy.
humanity because he doesn't kill the Gorn.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
They fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Gorn that helped them. The Gorn that is throwing fucking thing at Kirk all the time.
Yeah.
This one survived. It's fine.
But also the Metrons announced themselves before that happened, and the fact that he was just fucking around in the background in this episode and being like, I'm gonna sort of touch this and do this, and then he says, you can keep your memory, but I might erase your memory about the Gorn later. Really pissed me off. I did not like that at all.
So bad.
There was literally no reason for the Metron to reveal themselves. They were already in transport. They could have just left, and that they got Ortega.
What did she learn from it? She doesn't remember her meeting the Metron. So I don't know. That part bothered me. It was neat to see them, but
Listen, the Gorn dies in the fire when she sets the fire because they definitely have problem with fire. Mm-hmm. She dies from infection. God knows what. She dies. She gets rescued. The Metron stops and they're like, we cannot let you go away with them knowing that there was something going on. End of the episode. Great. I'm on board with that. I'm doing a rewriting like MC does for them.
That's I've already done that, and it was almost exactly the same. So
thank you.
MC, go ahead.
Giraffe covered a lot of what I was going to say because we are very much on two minds on this. Because La'an shot this being for walking while Gorn. It was unarmed. It was injured. Ortegas was fine. And also, your phasers have stun settings. They had it's not like they thought they were going into a Gorn nest or something. They just knew that Erica was there. So the fact that La'an does a murder and nobody, Erica is mad for a second, but yeah, Uhura does pull that hold. They were both trying to protect you. Celia Rose Gooding, for the longest time, has had ACAB in her Twitter profile.
So Paramount told them to remove it.
Yeah. Yeah. But so having her say that line is just it offends me. And I don't want to repeat too much what Giraffe said.
Say it again for the people in the back. Say it again.
But yeah, I mean, they're not at war with the Gorn right now, and there wasn't any threat, and we're told over and over again that Starfleet, shoots when it's necessary to, when they're in danger, but they weren't in danger. They straight up murdered somebody, and they should frankly get court-martialed for it, or at the very least get suspended. And it really reflects poorly, particularly in the type of world we're in, where, law's basically law enforcement. So having a law enforcement officer being told that, she's just protecting her friend by shooting the injured, unarmed being, it's just really fucking gross to me. Now, I am going to get into the other part of the ending with the Metrons. I felt it coming. It's as soon as like everything froze, I'm like, oh, they better fucking not. And they did it. I hated the appearance of Q at the end of Wedding Bell Blues. I thought that it was a cheap copy paste of one of my favorite episodes, Squire of Gothos, and Arena is also one of my favorite episodes. So then basically having a copy paste from Arena at the end of this, it felt so lazy. And so much of this season, with the introduction of Scotty as a main character, the appearances of Kirk and really kind of integrating him with the crew members that he's eventually going to serve with, there is a lot of setup for TOS. And with episodes like Wedding Bell Blues and with this one, all of a sudden we're getting just straight up remember berries. Like, do you remember this episode? This episode of TOS, which actually some of you won't remember because you haven't actually watched the original series. So this is going to mean absolutely fucking nothing to you.
I remember.
And I hated it because it didn't serve any purpose, because Ortegas isn't going to remember it. They did say that we're going to wipe your memory. So what purpose does it serve? It's only for the audience to be fan service. And, I love fan service, but I like my fan service to have meaning to it. And this does not have meaning to it. This is just like, well, we remember that episode of the original series where Kirk is fighting the guy in the funny suit, and they even made mention of the suit, basically saying it's like will alter your perception of the Gorn, which I did feel was them kind of going for, this is why the Gorn look different in TOS, which one, I've already come up with a better answer for that. And two, I don't need an actual answer for that. That's like the whole, why do the Klingons have ridges and sometimes they don't? We don't need an answer. We don't need an in-universe answer to that. We can accept the fact that TOS was done in the 1960s for $12 and a bag of Coke. Like, we're fine with that.
It's $13, but I'll allow it.
Okay. I forgot the inflation. Yeah.
Y'all know how much back
then it was barely anything.
But what makes it even worse is that it again ties back into what I brought up before, the whole human bias of the Federation. The Gorn in Arena looks more humanoid than the Gorn in this. So Gorn in Strange New Worlds, more animalistic, treated like beasts. Then we're going to get to TOS, and apparently the Metrons have changed how people view them. And then we're going to be all friendly. I don't like this implication. I don't know if this is what they were going for. I mean, certainly they're not going for the darker implication of it that I'm overlaying onto it. But it's how I read it, and I do not like it.
But the Metron looked fabulous.
They did look fabulous.
They did look fabulous.
Looked so fabulous.
I don't know what that guy is, but I'm here for him. Like, I was like, yeah, Silver.
Okay, so I have a bit of a different take on this, though. I think you all bring up really, really good points. I don't like this ending, but I don't like this ending because I don't like it like being in the episode. I think it actually works as an ending really well. But like when when La'an shot the Gorn, I screamed. Like when we first watched the episode, I screamed. I fucking hated it. Like it sucks. It absolutely fucking sucks. Like no doubt about that. I think what I take away from this is that like, yes, like this season, La'an has grown a lot, right? But I know a few people mentioned this in our Discord. I think I may have said something similar, that like trauma and pain rears its ugly face in really shitty ways. Is what La'an did absolutely shitty? Yes, but she saw Gorn, it brought up like bad shit for her, and she did an awful thing. I think, whether you want to look, well, the Gorn was going to touch her. I think that's subjective, right? Like it doesn't matter either way. At the end of the day, yes, La'an did murder that Gorn. Rescuing it from what she thought was a evil creature in her mind, right? It sucks. It doesn't feel good. I didn't feel good after, but it made me think about it a lot. And that's like why I enjoyed it. I also, and I fucking hope, because this is the one thing that we're saying, like, is this going to get touched up on? Like I 100% hard agree. Erica says something really important that we haven't talked about yet at the end. She's like, no, you don't talk to me right now. I'm not talking to you. Mm-hmm. I know it didn't get talked about in this episode, and I'm praying that there is comeuppance in season 4, that this gets talked about, that there is an issue between them, because La'an did kill Erica's friend. It's a really interesting ending. I think it was a really interesting ending to a really good episode. It gave me like a pit in my stomach. It gave me a nod, because I think you're supposed to think about all the things that Giraffe brought up and that MC brought up. As far as the Metrons go, I don't care, if that makes sense. Like I didn't care about them in Arena. I don't care about them now. It didn't do anything for me. Like, and I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I liked them. I thought that they were cool. I thought they looked cool. And yes, you guys already said it. They were fabulous. The one thing I want to point out is that on our Discord and social media, I think that sometimes we forget that Strange New Worlds, Discovery, Lower Decks, Prodigy, all of these shows are, for some people, this is their first entry into Star Trek. And I think that putting in the Metrons, like we had like people legit in our server, they'd be like, oh, who were they? And that's actually cool, because that is their first time experiencing them. So if they do go back and watch TOS, or in one person's situation, they did watch a TOS, but it was like a glossed over point. They're like, they can go back and watch that now. It's like, oh, this is what that was. So like, this is, an introduction for them. Yes, it's Remember Berries for us. It's Remember Berry that I personally don't care about, but it is an introduction for new viewers. And I think that that's really cool. And I enjoyed them, and I enjoyed the look, and I did love the queer overtones for them. Like I thought that was so fucking great. So I disliked the ending in the sense that I enjoyed the ending and what it made me think about, if that makes sense. So, anybody else have anything they want to add before we get to final thoughts? I guess I'll just do that. Final thoughts. It'll go back to MC.
I think that this was a fantastic episode, and it really does hurt that I feel like they didn't stick the landing, because it was so good up until then, and that always does make it hurt some more. I really think that it would have been quite powerful if like Erica and the Gorn had to wait a while to be rescued, and when the Starfleet officer showed up, Erica turned to her and then realized that she had died from her infection. I think it would have been beautiful and very
Yeah.
sad, and that's all they needed to do. So yeah, it was a great episode, but I do have my issues with it.
Eric, that would have been a way better ending. Yeah, I really like this episode. I'm glad that we finally got to see more of Ortegas and that she wasn't really flying for most of this episode. She flew at the beginning. That's why she went. So she had to fly that ship. But yeah, like MC said, like this was a really good episode, and that just didn't stick the ending. And I know, Julian, you think that this might be the best, but I still think Memento Mori's better than it.
Oh, for this season, though.
No.
Like,
No. I said as a series. I'm debating still. I'm debating.
Elysian Kingdom.
I know Elysian, but I said
Elysium Kingdom.
I said in the chat, it's like between this and Elysian Kingdom. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, those are all
I
good.
know.
Yeah. But you know, other than that, yeah, solid episode. I'm glad that we got a good episode heading into the finale.
Yeah. Yep. Draft.
I really like MC's ending that when Van shows up, Erica comes out and is like, and this is my wife. And we get a Gorn wedding! Yes! Gorn wedding! Gorn wedding!
They could cut right to like the animation from Lordex.
No,
And I sent
do it
that.
live action, but exactly the same.
I sent to the host a little like thing in the Discord that Eric read
I was
already.
laughing. It was so good.
So, yeah, I think it was a great episode. I think it's good that they're like trying to retcon that idea that, you know, your opponent is just a senseless monster. I think that the ending, even if I disliked it, could have worked if they had more conversation about it.
Yeah.
And then it would have felt like it was meant to be that ending, and they thought about it and not, we need to finish, wrap it up. Yeah, looking forward to the finale next week, and I may rewatch this one.
Hey, I think that might be the first time you said that this season. No, you liked Salat.
No, I'm not gonna watch this one.
Oh, that's fair.
No,
All right.
I'll rewatch this one maybe. The only one in this season. I've not watched the finale, so I don't know. But I'll rewatch this one because I like the chess game thing. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll turn it off and then imagine them going off together.
Yeah,
and that explains.
I'm just gonna stop.
They
when,
work
like, they
together to
showed
bring
up.
Erica's shuttle back up from the dead and go off into the
Yeah,
sunset
no,
together, Bonnie and Clyde.
Which is why Erica's not on the Enterprise in TOS.
Hey.
Gorn wedding.
Gorn wedding.
Hawk.
all the reasons everybody's already stated. I will say on a personal note, it was nice today just sit down and like find myself invested in a Star Trek episode, and not, you know, it's like, you know, despite like, you know, how, you know, not sticking the landing and that, you know, I was engrossed in the dynamic. It hit all the right marks right up until the end.
Yeah. Y'all already know how I feel. I fucking love this episode. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think we had an even better conversation about it. I think this was fantastic and a lot of fun. So let's just get right into the subspace to poll and mailbag.
Hailing frequencies open.
And I guess I'm the poll reader now. Though these aren't that great. Does anybody else want to do the poll tonight?
I can do the poll.
Go ahead, Hawk.
All right, we asked Trek Threads what they thought about Terrarium, and this is what they had to say. 68% said more Ortegas. 21% said some Ortegas.
I laughed at that one. Come on. That's good. That was fun.
All right, thank you.
Honey American flags for others. 7% said meh Tegas. And 4% said blah Tegas.
Some Tegas was the best one out of those.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So it was Hawk, which means draft. Could you take Matt Harker's mailbag, please?
Matt Harker wrote, finally, the long wait is over. More Ortegas. We finally see Erica come into her own. She's resourceful as hell, although perhaps a bit quick to trust a member of the species who gored her and nearly took her end. Still, if Ortegas can learn to forgive, there's hope then for us all. Even if the Metrons in their silver silky sheets don't think we're quite ready. Not sure I liked the double standard that Uhura was forgiven while Ortegas was reprimanded when both were insubordinate, regardless of their motivation. We did learn one final lesson. Never call Spock fat. 1.6 kilo variance ain't nothing. It's all in how you feel.
Very, very nice. Thank you, Giraffe. Eric, you take Johnny Maguros, please.
I mean, if Erica lost her hand, she could have had a cyborg hand like in Alien Earth. Yes.
Like Luke
That's going to be the rest of the season. We're just going to reference that show.
All the time. Johnny Maguro said, "Yay for an Erica-full, Beto-less Ortegas episode. There are always going to be things to nitpick about any episode, and this one was no different, the translator thing, but it was great to return to a normal storytelling in Terrarium. I just wish we could have had 10 episodes of regular Star Trek adventures this season instead of just a couple. Anyway, with 2 seasons still ahead of us, it would be illogical to dwell too much on the lost opportunities of this season. So I'm gonna stay positive and just keep hoping for more Strange New Worlds in Strange New Worlds."
Very, very nice. Thank you, Eric. And MC, can you take Rob G's, please?
Rob G wrote, I love everything this episode promised. Ortegas exploring a strange new world, the ship doing sciencey stuff to save a stranded crew member who is busy facing their greatest fear. It felt like a random filler episode from 90s Trek in all the right ways. I'm not sure they quite landed the execution for me, but more of this, please. Also, Spock ain't fat. He's thick in all the right ways. You spelled thick wrong. It's supposed to have 2 C's.
Yeah. 2 C's.
Yes,
2 C's.
Thick.
Thank you, MC. I will take Simons, who wrote, Terrarium was fine, I guess. Bummed that it's another La'an has no control thing. And I kind of wish we weren't basically retreading TOS episodes again. Nice to see Ortega shine more here, though she got a little weirdly flippant with being hopeful at the end, I felt. Oh, hey, look, Ortega's demonstrated the tech used in Pike's beep boop chair. 5 out of 10 agrees. And then can you take Jedi Cats, please, Hawk?
Yes, Jedi Cat wrote, Ortegas at last. This is the kind of Star Trek episode I love. Thrilling adventure, character development, science and problem solving, top-notch acting and production, and a corker of an ending. The Metrons! I had a few quibbles. Leon's shooting first and asking questions later, a week after her Romulan misadventure, comes off as a step back for her character, and Uhura seems to get off easy for fudging the data. Still, it's a strong episode that could shake out to be one of the best of the entire series. In baseball parlance, they finally called Melissa Navia off the bench, and she delivered a grand slam of a performance. Kudos also to Celia Rose Gooding as Uhura. To paraphrase a certain comedy skit, now that was a Star Trek.
I just want to take a moment because I don't feel like we did enough, because I made a kind of shorter outline this week because there were 5 of us. Melissa Navia absolutely just crushed this performance.
Yes,
this episode.
absolutely.
Like, so much kudos. Where are we? I have the outline. Help me, Eric. Giraffe. Travel lady, please.
Travel Lady 12 wrote, Season 3, Episode 9, we finally get the long-awaited Ortegas episode. I think it was worth waiting for. I totally got enemy mine vibe and one human and one Gorn alone on a planet moon. Maybe we've seen these before, but hey, I really like this version. I also early on assumed that it was a female Gorn, more ready to work together than to fight. Sorry, Kirk. A bit worried about Uhura manipulating the data and Pike seeing right through it. And why is Lon so fast in shooting the Gorn? A real shame that she had to die, but necessary for canon, I suppose.
Yep. Can you take Emily Rees, please, Eric?
Sure you don't want to read Michael Kwan's comment over in the chat? Emily Reed wrote...
Well, we already talked about gapes tonight, so can we get away with another?
Yes, we could.
Okay, Michael Kwan wrote in the chat, fudging the data sounds like what Tasha Yar did. Made my night.
It was so good.
Made my night.
Emily rewrote, so it was the enemy with Erica as Geordi, but with a Metron surprise. Love seeing that Ortegas is clever with a wide range of skills. She can even make water out of parts of a ship like a regular MacGyver. She may have gotten over her fear of the Gorn a bit too quickly, but that's a minor quibble. I did groan at it being the fucking Metrons, because of course it was, but like the Ortegas-Lizzie friendship.
Very, very nice. And then can you take Mars's, please, MC?
Mars wrote, more Tegas, more like more trauma. In fact, a nice round of trauma for all of my friends. I am glad Ortegas didn't say I fly the ship, but her and Gorn Girl said it in sign language. So, I did like aspects of this one too, but man, that ending left me once again. Bangs on the table for emphasis, elbows akimbo. I know we can't have the Gorn on the Enterprise, but man, the shooting on sight, no warning, no stun setting. It felt rushed and sloppy. The final episode is gonna have to do a lot of heavy lifting. I hope they've got plenty of crochet hooks to hide all their loose threads.
Oh,
My wife's got plenty.
I like that.
Oh.
Yeah. I will take Tara's, who wrote Metrons. Oh, for fuck's sake! I wish Strange New Worlds would stop cribbing from TOS or feeling like they must do so every damn episode. I also would like to have understood how the Gorn female, of course it was a female, ended up there. Was the whole moon meant to be a Metron experiment? I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Also, the Gorn understood English without a translator. Do they also understand Swahili and Chinese, Klingon and Vulcan? It's actually a very reasonable question. Melissa Navia did a great job, and I generally like these types of episodes, but I had to suspend too much disbelief here. That is when I could have almost see what she was supposed to be doing. I appreciate the message of cooperation, but I can't say I especially enjoyed this ep. I did enjoy Navia's energy, though.
Okay, can I add something? Because I totally fucking forgot to say that. You'll clip that, Julian, and you put it in my last spot. But we got Uhura speaking Swahili.
We did. Yeah.
It's the first time since TOS in the Changeling when she forgot everything and she had to relearn everything, and she speaks Swahili. And I like to remind that Nyola is my homegirl. East Africa represent. Yes, she is not only a black woman, she's an East African. Yes. Thank you. So I can't believe I forgot that. It was too many Metrons and shiny.
Too many Metrons. Yeah, too many shiny robes. Too many shiny robes. Where am I? Who's up? Hawk, take us home with Dana's, please.
All right, Dana wrote, more Ortegas for the win. This episode was a fun adventure of how does someone get so unlucky but make it look so badass awesome. I'm glad we finally got to resolve a plot point from a previous episode. Good job, Star Trek and Paramount, cough cough. Can we maybe do something about Captain Angel now?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
This episode taught us empathy and chess. Two very important life lessons to learn. It also taught us that Archer isn't the only one who likes to shoot first and ask questions later. Guess Leon still has
Okay, hold on.
Dana.
How fucking true, though.
Okay, guess Leon still has some healing of her own to do. I love seeing Uhura and Erica's friendship play such a large role in this episode. It gave me all the warm and fuzzies. I can't believe the season is almost over. I'm not ready. I don't think any of us are.
Same, girl, same. That is going to do it for this one. Thank you. By the way, thank you to our amazing collective. The mailbags have been like abundant this season. So always love hearing your thoughts and getting your thoughts in the episode. Finale week next week. Just a quick note. We are going to be covering Star Trek Con, but it comes out on Monday. So after Strange New Worlds is over, we're going to take a week off. And then the following, that'll be the alternative space episode. And the week after that, we will cover episodes 1 through 3 of Star Trek Con. Okay. So have that to look forward to. We have the Strange New Worlds finale.
I think you're saying that wrong. It's Con.
Con. He panicked. He was like, what do you mean?
People might think it's a convention. You got to say it like that.
That is true, yeah.
Get off my bridge.
Oh boy. Anyway, that's coming up. We have the finale of Stranger Worlds next week. New life and new civilizations. Join us for that one. Same bat time, same bat place, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time here on YouTube. Hit the like button, sub, hit the bell. And as we've been doing every night following these, we have our late night crew join us for a watch along of Terrarium. We will say 11:45 p.m. Eastern time in about 15 minutes. We will see you there. For Hawk, for MC, for Giraffe, for Eric, I am Julian. Live long and prosper. Majram. Have a great night. Thank you so much.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.